1460s, islands off West Africa became Portugal's first tropical colony. By the 1520s, 2,500 enslaved Africans were being shipped through every single year. Cape Verde's dark legacy isn't what left the islands, it's what was left behind. The 10 volcanic islands of Cape Verde lie 600 kilometers off the coast of West Africa, anchored at a natural maritime intersection. Strong Atlantic currents and trade winds converged on this archipelago, turning a remote geographic outpost into a primary sailing route. On the largest island, Santiago, Portuguese settlers established a permanent foothold at Ribeira Grande. This site offered a deep natural harbor sheltered from heavy ocean swells. It was positioned between the emerging supply zones of the Upper Guinea coast and the vast expanse of the open ocean. Ships traveling south, from Lisbon or westward to the Americas, used these secure waters to rest, resupply, and prepare for transoceanic voyages. The physical geography of the islands turned distance into an advantage. In 1466, a royal charter from the Portuguese crown legalized the trade of enslaved Africans on the islands, transforming this remote outpost into a formal instrument of empire. By the early 16th century, subsequent royal decrees integrated Cape Verde directly into the state's financial system. Under Governor-General Antonio de Azevedo, colonial customs officials established tax registers to systematically document every captive brought from the West African coast. The Crown levied mandatory passage fees on these transshipments, turning forced human migration into reliable sovereign income. To protect this revenue, the administration built secure customs houses, fortified warehouses, and harbor defenses at Ribeira Grande. This administrative and physical infrastructure gave the market a rigid, state-controlled structure, ensuring that every vessel funded the global reach of the Portuguese throne. Between 1525 and 1550, port registers and slave voyage records document a massive escalation in traffic, with annual exports reaching roughly 2,000 to 2,500 enslaved Africans. Over these decades, tens of thousands of captive men, women, and children were forced through the archipelago. The systematic flow began along the West African coast, drawing captives chiefly from Senegambia, Upper Guinea, and Sahel-connected trade zones. Caravels transported these individuals to the islands, where they entered a tightly controlled transshipment sequence. Captives were held briefly in wooden barracoons along the harbor walls of Ribeira Grande for processing, taxation, and physical conditioning. Once registered, they were quickly loaded onto Atlantic-bound vessels for onward sail. This process supplied the rapidly expanding labor demands of Brazil, the Spanish Caribbean, and various European markets. The port registers show that Cape Verde did not operate as an occasional anchorage, but as a permanent, recurring node that laid the operational foundation for the entire transatlantic slave system. Inside the wooden barracoons lining the harbor walls of Ribeira Grande, the administrative machinery of the trade translated into a physical ordeal. Franciscan missionary diaries and Inquisition registers preserve fragments of this confinement. The clank of iron leg shackles, the stifling heat of crowded holding pens, and the acrid odor of sweat mixing with salt air. These records document an abrupt, violent interruption of human lives, where individuals were stripped of their names and families. Yet, captivity was met with immediate defiance. In 1543, captives in the São Domingos barracoon broke through heavy wooden doors in a coordinated revolt. Others fled the coastal ports entirely. Escaping into Santiago's volcanic interior, small groups scaled the jagged basalt ridges of Monte Madeira, surviving on wild figs and rainwater. For these self-liberated communities, the rugged, high-altitude wilderness became a sanctuary and a stronghold against re-enslavement. The constant contact within Santiago's ports shaped a permanent cultural legacy. Captives from Wolof, Mandinga, and Fulani communities spoke with Portuguese traders, creating Kriolu, the first modern Creole language. In the island markets, West African drum rhythms blended with European string melodies to form the early roots of Morna and Coladera music. Even daily meals adapted. Families slow-cooked cachupa, a stew combining local corn and beans with Portuguese dried fish. Out of the violence of the slave trading hub, mixed heritage families and folk religious practices grew, transforming a transit point of forced migration into a living society. The physical architecture of Cidade Velha preserves this 16th century history in dark volcanic stone. High above the old harbor, the massive basalt walls of the Forte Real de São Felipe, constructed between 1587 and 1593, overlook the cathedral ruins and the open slave market square. In 2009, UNESCO inscribed this entire site as direct evidence of the early Atlantic trade. Below these stone ruins, national archives protect the surviving paper trail. Shipping manifests, port tax ledgers, and parish baptismal registers. For modern Cape Verdeans, these material traces form the tangible, daily foundation of their collective memory. Today, Cidade Velha's ruins stand silent, but the resilient Creole culture forged there endures. This legacy remains a living testament to human survival. Share your thoughts below.